Hello traders, Rich here, and here's a quick but detailed update on Bitcoin. As usual, if you guys like video analysis, let me know in the comments or simply leave a like. So let's get started. As we clearly see, Bitcoin has been overall bullish for a while, making higher lows and higher highs, trading inside this orange rising channel. And lately we see that price rejected our upper bound or upper orange trend line, acting as a non-horizontal resistance, and we also had the supply zone and the 50k 4850k resistance zone. The confirmation that the bears took over from a short-term perspective for the correction movement to start, we can see it very clearly from H1 time frame. We had this bullish trend, then price got stuck inside a consolidation, broke below the previous low. We had a classic retest as the bears couldn't break above it, so it's now a short-term retest, and then we had the next impulse movement downward. We can see this bearish trend now from a medium-term perspective better from H4 time frame. If we zoom out, we can see that from a long-term perspective, we are bullish trading inside this orange channel, but nothing can trade in the same direction for a long period of time, right? Nothing goes up straight. It's very normal to have an impulse correction and so on. So we are currently in a correction phase, and we can see that the price is trading inside this falling channel from H4 from a medium-term perspective, making low lows and lower highs. So for the bulls to take over from a long-term perspective, we need to see a third swing or a new swing to form around the upper trend line, and then we need to see a break above it. Meanwhile, as mentioned per my last picture analysis, that we are still bearish. However, we do have a support here from daily time frame. You can see it very clearly. It was acting as resistance previously, broken upward, now acting as support. So we've got these two support zones. That's why we'll start to look for buy stop starting from here. Of course, this is from a short-term perspective. From a long-term perspective, we still need this to happen, which we saw from H4. Meanwhile, and until the bulls take over here, we can still trade lower and lower. So to know that, we always zoom into lower time frames because we can't really see a full swing from daily time frame, right? So we are bearish clearly as mentioned from H1. This is our impulse. So now we are expecting that if the bulls would take over, we would have an impulse till the upper trend line and red. So from a medium-term perspective, we need to see this impulse correction, then a break above it. Meanwhile, we would be bearish, and the next support area would be the intersection of the lower orange trend line, which we saw from daily, and this 40k support zone, which is also a demand area from daily time frame. So long story short, we are overall bullish from a long-term perspective, bearish from a medium-term perspective, and we are currently inside this range from a short-term perspective. If the bulls manage to break above this area, then a movement till the upper band would be expected, and we'll be monitoring the price action around this area to know if we would have one more correction before we break upward. Meanwhile, until this happens, we can still trade lower, and if we have, especially if price kept moving lower from here, then or like keeps moving lower from here, then we would have a daily candle close below it, and the daily support would be confirmed to be broken downward. In this case, as mentioned many times, a movement till the lower support would be expected. So this zone now is very important. Let's see if the bulls would manage to break above it, or the bears will remain in control for an overextended bearish impulse movement downward. That's it for me. Best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one.